Yandek, CYInterview covering Las Vegas and the world. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and please like this video to keep up with everything we do here in Las Vegas, here at CYInterview, and also our celebrity CY interviews and inspiring CY interview conversations. Keep up with all of it by subscribing to our channel, and we thank you so much for your support. So it's June 2024. A lot of you are going to be going on vacation soon. Some of you are going to be going to Mexico. Some of you are going to be going to South America. Some of you are going to be going to Australia. Some of you are going to be going to Europe, Asia, or like I did, I just came back from Africa by visiting Kenya again for the second time in 8 months. If you follow our channel, you may have seen my video with my Kenyan safari I did back in the fall of 2023. But the reason we're here today is that we're going to talk about how I spent the night in a airport terminal in Nairobi, Kenya. So after flying for 30 plus hours, I left on Saturday evening Las Vegas time and flew to Miami. I had a 10-hour layover in Miami. From there, I then went from Miami to London to the Heathrow airport. Had a couple-hour layover there, then got an airplane from Heathrow, London, to Nairobi, Kenya. So there you go. So I'm in Nairobi, Kenya now. That's not my last flight though. I'm actually going to Mombasa, Kenya on this trip to go see some giraffes at a very cool sanctuary. At the end of this video, we'll show you a couple seconds of seeing these giraffes who free roam right in front of you. They literally walk right in front of you. You know, there's no enclosed gate or anything like that. But to make a long story short, so I get to the counter, I have to go from the international hub at the Nairobi airport, and I'm going over to the domestic one because we're going from Nairobi to Mombasa, which is about an hour flight. No big deal, but yours truly has already traveled for 30 plus hours. So I get to the counter and I'm told, well, your flight has been canceled. It's almost midnight Monday evening in Nairobi. And I'm thinking to myself, my flight's been canceled. So when's it rescheduled? And the person at the counter tells me it's going to be in about 7 hours. And I have the option to go to a hotel for about 4 hours. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what if I end up, sleeping in? What if I end up, not being able to get up and I miss that flight and I'm stuck in Nairobi, Kenya, because I actually am planning to go to Mombasa. So I asked the woman if I could just stay in the airport terminal for 7 hours overnight. Now, most people probably wouldn't do that, but I figured that, there's a good chance I'm going to sleep. I don't know where I'm going, and I felt safer there. So let's break it down. Number one, while I was in the Nairobi Airport Terminal 1D, which is for the domestic flights, number one, the place was secure. There's 24-hour security there. They have a 24-hour person at the TSA up front. There's also a person at the information airport desk that's there overnight. So I spent the night with some airport employees. There's security cameras as well. So, my second thought again that I've already spoken about is I only would have gotten like 4 hours of sleep. So I've already traveled for 30 plus hours. The flights from Miami to London were about 8 hours. The flights from London to Nairobi were about 8 hours. So I was just like, 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, maybe I'll be able to sleep, but maybe I'll just be sitting in the hotel room, making sure I don't miss the pickup that's going to take me back to the Nairobi airport to make my flight in the morning to Mombasa. So spending 7 hours in an airport wasn't that big of a deal. So what did I do? I sat down, I charged my phone. Now, make sure when you're going to these countries, you have the different international plugs to plug into their power outlets. Because remember, their power outlets are not the same if you don't have a USB to charge your phone. If it's not just a direct USB, you need to make sure you have the power extensions for Africa or Europe or wherever you're going in the world. So that's something you also need to take care of if you're going to spend the night. You want to charge your phone. I charged my phone the whole night. I was able to find a power outlet. The person at the airport was able to show me where, and I just sat there and charged my phone and watched some things on my tablet, and the time went and read a book. There's also number three. Another reason why I felt I was safe there was they weren't turning the lights off. There were security cameras. And then the most important thing for me, number four. Obviously you can't always have this experience if you're traveling something new, but I already been in that airport 8 months prior. So I knew the airport, like where everything was. I know the area. I had traveled through that area before. And again, there was a security guy up front who manages the whole entire night. They don't ever shut down. It's not like they turn the lights off and, hey, you're on your own. You're sitting in a lobby and there's no one there. So I felt perfectly safe, spending the night there. Again, charge your phone, read a book, just pass the time. Do you really want to go to a hotel for 4 hours, even if the airport's accommodating you and you literally fall asleep? Yeah, maybe somebody of you, after you're charging for 30 hours, you'd want to, take it easy or be somewhere. But for me, it just wasn't worth it. So I just sat there, I charged the phone and hung out with a couple of airport. And the fun thing was is you get to see then the airport employees come in the morning and basically start up the airport and the flights or whatever. So then I made my flight at like around approximately 6 a.m. in the morning and got there and got to Mombasa in 1 hour. And so at the end of that trip, at the end of the day, I was up for 3 consecutive days. I did get to see giraffes at the Goonie sanctuary there, an ostrich. It was unbelievable. You take this 30-minute nature walk, which I'll post a little bit of that on the way there. You post this nature walk and you walk through and you see all these different bugs and birds and things like that. And at the end of that 30-minute walk, you're greeted by a dozen or so giraffes. And it's just unbelievable. They're like literally right in front of you. There were people having a picnic under a tree, and the giraffe is standing right next to them, literally. If you ever get to go to, Kenya, I recommend this. It was only 50 American dollars for two people to go to this. It was just an incredible experience. Again, nothing that we say in these videos is endorsement or a paid endorsement, but what I would say to you more than anything else, is that if I'm an American, probably the first country to go to in Africa would be Kenya. I've had two great experiences there. I felt completely safe. It's an amazing place. I'd get out of the major Nairobi hub and go to the coastal cities and see Malindi or Watamu or Mombasa. They're just beautiful beach communities and beach resort communities. It's just incredible on the obviously the coast of the Indian Ocean. A lot of beautiful things to do, a lot of fun things to buy, very affordable dining. You can have, a good meal at some of the greatest resorts, in those beach coastal towns for 30 or $40 for two people. You can have breakfast for under, for $20 for two people. So I absolutely highly recommend that. The whole experience of spending, 7 hours overnight from like, 11 o'clock to again about like 6 a.m. in the morning at a terminal airport was, it reminded me of the 2004 Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal, which also stars past CYInterview guest Zoe Saldana of Avatar fame, which you can find at CYInterview.com. You can find her interview with Zoe from 2011. That's what it reminded me of. I spent literally the night with a hotel security staff and someone who manages the airport's information desk. Literally two other people. Saw the cleaning crew go home, saw the people then come in the morning, and then made my flight at 6 a.m., which is only 1 hour. Looking at stuff from the sky is so beautiful when you land at all the different cities in Kenya. I've had the opportunity to land, of course, in Nairobi, but when you're flying domestic out of Nairobi to either Mombasa or Malindi when you're landing, it's just beautiful. It's just beyond beautiful scenery when you get off the plane or whatever. So, um, you know, as a first Africa trip, if you ever wanted to go somewhere, Kenya really has it all for an American. Lots of Americans go there every year. I believe 100,000 Americans travel there every year, I've read. And so, what I'd say to you is that, just to recap, make sure the terminal is secure, that there is ongoing security there 24/7. Security cameras is good. Make sure you bring your correct charging ports so you can plug into their country's wall so you can charge your phone. Those are the things I advise, obviously, and read a book, look at stuff on your phone, look at stuff on your tablet if you bring one, and find a way to pass the time. Again, would you rather, if you had to go to another city, unless you're planning to stay there for the day and you want to make the day of it, why would you go to an airport? Why would you go to a hotel for a couple of hours? So that was my thinking. So it was kind of, again, a fun experience to just be there by yourself as the hours are passing into the early morning. And then I made my flight and got there. But at the end of it, we probably had traveled almost 40 plus hours till I reached my hotel in Mombasa, Kenya. So, I'm just going to recap and say thank you for watching this video. A lot of you are going to travel this summer. Some of you are going to be having that opportunity. You're going to have a flight canceled. Maybe you're stuck in an airport terminal for 7 or 8 hours, and maybe it's not worth going to a hotel. And if it's not, it's a good chance to just really sit and reflect and think about all of the hours you have traveled to get to your final destination, which I hope everybody has a safe summer flying across the world. This is Chris Yandek again for CYInterview. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
Can they be mischievous sometimes?